Hey, welcome back to Max Nave Horsemanship again today. And I want to talk about something that you just saw. Well, it wasn't the last video, I think it was the one before that. But I had this particular horse in here with me. And while I was talking to you, something happened that if you were paying attention, you would have noticed it. But most of you probably wouldn't notice it. And a lot of you probably wouldn't think nothing of it either because, well, I'm going to explain what it was and the consequence of it because initially it seems pretty benign and like no big deal. And well, what it was is she was rubbing on me. Now, some people think that's kind of cute. And I don't think nothing of it. It's like, oh, they're being affectionate and everything else. No, that's not the case at all. It's actually disrespect. They're being disrespectful because if she's using me as a scratching post, then, well, effectively to her, I am nothing more than a fence post. And if left unchecked, that kind of behavior can really cause some big problems. I know a lot of you watching it, you saw it, you figure, oh, no big deal. She's just rubbing on you, that's no big deal. Nothing got hurt. No, that's true. But you'll also notice if you're paying attention, I did something about it. Now, I didn't get physical with her, I didn't hit her or anything like that, but I did say some things to her, maybe not family friendly, that she immediately knew what I meant, and even though she didn't understand the words themselves, she understood the emotion that was coming from me and immediately said, okay, I won't do that anymore. And in a horse world, what is very normal is warnings. Horses, a lot of people, you'll hear something that, well, a horse kicked another horse for no reason. No, didn't do it for no reason, and oh, it kicked without warning. No, it absolutely did not. You didn't see the warning. You weren't paying attention, and then sometimes the warnings are pretty subtle, but they're there. Now, my warning was, back off, I'm not going to tolerate it. And had it kept going or gotten worse, I would have escalated to whatever I had to do. That's what you're going to have to do. Because why her rubbing on me was a bad thing is this. Because behavior like that, like I said, to start with, it's disrespectful. Because if she's scratching on me and using me as a rubbing post, she doesn't have much respect for me because they would never ever do that to another horse. Ah, there she goes again. Now, see, she didn't get offended. I shouldn't have even hit her, but that was what was handy. I did it. I feel bad about that. Sorry, sweetheart, but you asked for it. So you got to address these things immediately because if you don't, it'll escalate. Like I said, if she's using me for a scratching post, then she doesn't have much respect for me. And she's going to do something else, which she'll start barging into me, crowding me, knocking me over, and it may escalate to the point of biting or kicking even. And while those bad behaviors are going up, well, there's another side of it that's going to be going down at the same time as that one's going up. And what's going to happen is, because the horse is losing respect for you and getting away with more all the time, when you finally start asking it to do something, it's going to go, why should I listen to you? I get away with whatever I want. I don't have to put up, and you're not higher than me. You don't make me do things. Well, actually, yes, I do. And that's why when I ask her to do something, she'll do it. Is because I've always been firm and consistent. And that's where I've said many times is, it doesn't matter where you are or what you're doing, the rules don't change. And you got to be consistent in enforcing them. And that includes the somewhat benign appearing things like rubbing on you, where a lot of people think that's just the horse being affectionate and that's okay, it's no big deal. No, it is a big deal. Because like I said, it's a sign of disrespect, and as the level of disrespect goes up, the level of obedience goes down, and the next thing you know, you've got a dangerous horse on your hands that you have no control over. Do you get what I'm going with this? What is seemingly a very minor thing, her rubbing on me, can turn into a dangerous horse. I know it seems like a long reach to put those two together, but that is in fact what can happen, and it does happen. People want to be nice to their horse, and they don't want to get rough with the horse. They don't want to force things on the horse. They want to be their friend. Well, you can't, you can be their friend, but you still got to be the boss. You have to be the one in charge, because the horse can't be making the decisions. You have to. Only one of you. They'll say, well, I want a partnership with my horse. Well, that's okay. Nothing wrong with a partnership. But in every level of partnership on the planet, whether it's firefighters, cops, whatever, horse and rider, you know, in the military, anything, they have partners frequently. That's not an uncommon thing for there to be partnerships. But at the end of the day, one of them has authority. And if it comes down to a split decision between the two of them, there's one individual that gets to call the shots. And when you're working with your horse, you have to be that one. You have to be the one that calls the shots. And the horse doesn't take offense, you know. And if you're sensitive enough to pay attention to what the horse's needs are, you're still going to have a good partnership. You know, they don't. You know, you don't see her being offended by anything I've done. Is she offended? No, she's still standing right here. Because I've been fair and reasonable. But believe me, when it comes to the partnership between us, I'm the one calling the shots, always. And that's kind of how it goes. Is, you know, that what seemingly benign behaviors can escalate. Then on the other side, things deteriorate. And the next thing you know, you got an out-of-control dangerous horse, all because you wanted to be nice or have a partnership or whatever the case may be. It doesn't work that way. I'm sorry. But you did see in that video, I think that was 2 videos ago, where when she did rub on me, I immediately did something about it. Well, maybe not as quick as I should, and I maybe shouldn't have used the words I used, but, well, they don't take offense because they don't even understand the English language anyhow. They are capable of learning a few words, but mostly they just learn the sound of them, and you know, if they're in particular, if they're cues, they learn what we mean when we say back, side, whatever, you know, whoa, whatever your cue may be for whatever you're asking. You know, they learn, basically they made up the sound with an action. They don't necessarily understand the English language at all. But just thought I'd share that one with you, something that I know you saw, because I've watched that video myself over again, and I thought, you know what, I better talk about that because I didn't explain that. And by the way, if you find anything in any of my videos that you think I left something out, didn't explain it well or something like that, leave a comment, please. You know, feel free to leave a comment and say, hey, explain this. I don't understand how that worked. What happened there? Why did the horse respond the way it did? You know, things like that, because there's always lots of variables, and, you know, why the horse responds the way it does. A lot of it has to do with something else we've done, and, you know, sometimes I don't make all the connections, and I don't always explain myself really well too, because I do a lot of stuff, I just do it. I don't even think about it, and you know, there's always a very good chance that I might be leaving things out that you need to know about. So if you have a question, please leave a comment. You know, I don't care what you say. You can tell me I'm an idiot if you think so, but, you know, leave a comment, especially if you got questions, because nobody's born knowing anything. And if you don't ask, you'll never get answers. And, well, even if I'm not right, maybe it'll give you something to think about. You know, because I can be wrong. I have been wrong. I've done things that were wrong. So it's always possible that maybe the advice I give you won't be right. But don't necessarily blow it off, especially if there's several others that say the same thing. You know, shop around a little. Don't take my word for anything. I discourage people from taking any one individual on YouTube as, you know, their information as gospel type thing. There's a lot of that going on. I won't get into that, but anyhow. So I just wanted to explain a little more how that seemingly very minor thing that took place a couple videos, if not checked, can escalate into a very bad thing. And it can get bigger, and even though it seemed like nothing at all, it can go from that into a dangerous horse. I know it seems like a long stretch, but that can happen. So anyhow, hope you get something out of this one, and we'll see you on the next one. In the meantime, have a great day. Bye now.